Hello, everyone. Hi. Hello, and welcome to Teacher's Corner on the Teaching Disney YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name's Morgan, and I'm a sixth grade math and science teacher, and I also love all things Disney. And this is my first ever Teacher's Corner live stream where we are going to share our stories. And I'm so excited for it because I've been planning it for quite a while, and I'm so happy it came to fruition. And here we are. So without further ado, I'm going to let in some of my guests to tell you guys a little bit about themselves and what they are here for and kind of where you can find them and what's coming up on their channels. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the stories that I know you guys are so excited for. So who am I going to pick first? April!
Let me mute myself. I didn't expect that. Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Go ahead, tell the people who you are and why you're here.
Okay. My name is April. You can find me pretty much across the board at Thrifty Nerdy Mom on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. I am a pre-K teacher. This is my first year teaching actual pre-K, but I've been like a preschool teacher. I've been like an infant child care teacher for the last 14 years. So, yeah. And I guess what do I have coming up this week is Year of the Ear, so that's exciting.
Ooh.
And I know Jake's in it as well. I sent him his ears this month.
Oh, Jake, you got some good ears coming to you.
He did. He likes them.
So with that intro, let's bring on Jake.
Hi, everybody. April, you stole everything I was going to say, so thanks a lot. My name is Jake. You can find me at Jake's Disney Afternoon here on YouTube and on Instagram. I teach mostly middle school, but I do teach a little bit of elementary and high school. I am a music and theater teacher. And Year of the Ear is coming up. April did send me my ears. They are absolutely fabulous. Lots of pins. I've been buying where is it? Which direction am I going? Lots of pins everywhere behind me. So I've got more of that coming up too. That's it for now. Stories coming soon.
Awesome. Who am I going to pick next? Who next? Let's do you.
Oh, hi. Hey, everyone. I'm Christina. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for coming today. I am Christina over Read, Pray Disney's, where you can find me on YouTube and Instagram. As far as my channel goes, I read, I pray, and I Disney. So you can find pins, books, and just overall Disney stuff. Lately, it's been a lot of pin stuff because my book stuff, I haven't filmed, I just haven't edited. But yeah, there's all of that. As far as my teaching goes, I will be going to year 13 of teaching. I have been teaching, I have taught 7th grade English, and currently I am in 8th and 9th grade English interventionist. So yeah, all of that encompasses. Said I've taught in 2 states. So yeah, there we go. Can't wait for all the stories.
Wow. All right. And our final guest for today.
Me. Hi, everyone. I am Shirley, also known as Back Talk, and I do anything Disney. I always start with that, so I'm used to that. So teaching-wise, I've been teaching for a couple of years. It blurs out after like 4 or 5 years. I teach middle school. Currently, I'm teaching 7th and 8th grade math and science. Science was new to me this year. It's been a lot of fun. And I've always done middle school, always 7th grade, always 8th grade. So this year I'm also teaching online. So that's also been a lot of fun. That was by choice too, because I actually really liked it. As far as my channel goes, I am part of the 50 state swap, which some of you are too. And my week is finally coming. It's this Saturday. So my video finally gets out this Saturday, and you get to see what I get on my first ever swap, because I've never been in a swap before. And I have a video out today of our Genie Pass experience at Disneyland. So yeah, I do all sorts of content, Disneyland, Disney World. We went to Paris. We're hoping to go to Japan, but yeah, so that's me.
Awesome. And I'm Morgan, like you guys know. I've been teaching for 3 years. This is year 3 for me, so not very long, but I've also taught in 2 different states, actually 3 different states if you count my student teaching, 3 different states. And we're going to get into all the stories. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so we brought everyone on and we are all here to share our favorite stories with you guys. I hope you guys are excited because I am so excited for this. This is probably my favorite topic and the topic I have waited so long to do. If you guys didn't check out my video, I did have a video on some of my stories, or not really stories, but why I became a teacher. I think most of us said what we teach or how long we've been teaching, but let's just go around and remind everyone real quick of kind of the grade level and if you're comfortable with how many years you've been teaching. So I'll go first. I've been teaching for 3 years. I teach middle school, mainly 6th grade, math and science. So let's go this way. Jake.
I have been teaching for 20 years. And I teach mostly middle school, but I do teach a little bit of upper elementary school and high school as well, music and theater.
Whoa. Go ahead.
All right, so I think it's been 5 years, maybe more. I don't know. Definitely somewhere there. 7th and 8th grade, mostly math, always math. This year, science, and that's it. Same state always.
Oh, cool. Christina.
7th and 8th grade, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, all English, everything and anything to do with English and reading and writing.
Awesome. And April.
I teach pre-K, so pretty much 4 or 5 year olds and sometimes younger occasionally if I have to fit in somewhere, but pre-K is my room.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you, April, because it's really hard to sometimes find elementary and younger teachers. And I know that you are probably going to have so many stories to tell. It's probably insane because I think my day's insane sometimes, but I feel like it's not as insane as probably your room. Probably your room is crazy and I could never do it. So props.
It depends on the day. Some days are better than others, so.
Let's see who we got in the chat here. We got Tim and Katie. Hey guys. We got Katie here on her own. We got Seth Lavender sharing some love. Cammie from Key to Disney. Hi, Cammie. We got Katrina?
Katriana. She's my teacher best friend, the one that helps me with science.
Well, she says that you've been teaching for 7 years, just so you know.
Okay, thanks, Kitty.
She's got you.
Thanks, Kitty.
And we got Mom is in the mood. Hi.
Awesome name.
Yes, love the names. So much variance here. Which age range is the most challenging?
Ooh. Well, hold on. Before we get there, doesn't Seth, you're a teacher too, right? And Seth teaches at the collegiate level, right? He teaches some math stuff up there.
Oh, Mom is in the mood as a fellow teacher also.
Hey.
God, if you're a teacher, let us know what grade level you teach and how long.
Yeah, what do you do?
Jake, I had no idea you've been teaching that long.
I'm old, I know. I'm sorry.
No,
you wear it well.
You look great.
No, Seth says
it's the wine.
Community college math.
Yeah.
Community college math. Awesome.
Blessings.
Yeah. Hey, at least he teaches kids that want to be there.
Well, I'll drink an extra dose to that.
True.
Yes. All right. So our first story time topic is going to be, Mom is in the mood teaches virtual high school English.
Kudos.
Kudos to you. Whew, I could never. Science for 6 years. Yes. I love me some science. Fellow science teacher. All right. So our first topic is, what grade level do you teach Oh, we already went over that. Whoops. Moving on. What is the ultimate craziest thing that has happened to you while teaching? Who would like to go first?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, go Jake. Go for it.
So the first school I taught at right out of college, I taught the band program, and we started, and incidentally, it was also the high school I graduated from. So like my principal when I was a child was now my boss, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we started school on a Wednesday, and then 2 days later on the Friday, I was teaching band from 4th grade all the way to 12th grade. And we had new signups for kids just starting instruments. So I had my first clarinet lesson with this kid I didn't know. He was 5th grade. Nice kid. We got through the whole lesson. And just at the end of the lesson, he was packing up, and I had kind of turned back to my desk to do some work. And I hear him say, Mr. Lloyd, I need to go to the bathroom. And I said, okay, great. I said, can you finish packing up your stuff and you can hit the bathroom on the way back to the classroom? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And then I turned around and it was silent for like another minute. And I was like, why isn't he moving? And I turned around and he was peeing everywhere. Just this giant growing puddle. And he's just standing there in his little, polo shirt and like khaki pants, just crying. I couldn't even touch him. The pee circle was so large because and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be fired. And so I was like, okay, all right. And now I had been a summer camp counselor, so this is not exactly my first rodeo with peers. So then the bell rang, and I was like, oh crap. So I stood guard at the entrance to my room. And I was like, just stay there for a minute. We'll wait till everybody like clears the hall, and then we'll figure out what to do. And so all the kids went away, and like we had to like Mission Impossible it down to the nurse, where like I was on the 2nd floor of the building, the nurse is on the 1st floor, and she has like spare clothes and things like that. So I gave him like, I had like an old sweater in the room or something, and I was like, just hold this. And like we like ducked around every corner trying to avoid people because he was so disastrously soaked. And I was like, he's never coming back. The kids are gonna, and he came back the next week, sure as could be, and was like, yeah, sometimes I just get excited and I don't want to go to the bathroom because I'm having a good time. And I was like, well, okay. I was like, next time, it's okay if you have to like stop the lesson for a couple of minutes and go to the bathroom.
That is straight up FOMO.
So I was 23 years old and at my old high school, and the principal there, she was a tough cookie. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble. And the parents were totally chill. Everything was fine. But I was like, well, I had a peer today. So that's my crazy story.
Whoa. Okay.
Good times.
Woo. I'd like to say that you're not alone, Jake, but you're not alone. That happened to me actually this year in 6th grade.
Wow.
And I teach kids who are over age.
Right.
Who have failed a grade. So this is someone who should be in 7th grade. That did the same thing.
Yeah, it's happened to me, 7th and 8th graders.
Wow.
I don't know that it's happened. I'm gonna remember.
You gotta join the P Club now. I mean, that's like a goals.
You
April,
can't say
has this happened to
anything
you?
you can't say anything until you've gotten spit up in your mouth.
Ooh. Oh, no. No.
There you go. There you
No.
go. I won that one.
I did. What's funny was I started as an elementary school. I started in college going for elementary education because we didn't have middle level education. It's like fairly new concept. And I started in a 1st grade classroom, And the minute I knew I was not cut out for elementary was when a kid asked me to unbutton his pants for him so he could go potty. And I said, absolutely not. Goodbye. And I walked out the door and I said, I cannot do elementary school.
Hold on. Can we back up to the fact of
That's Dave.
when did middle school become a new concept? Like where were you? And why
No,
wasn't
not
there?
like-
It was elementary to high school?
No, like getting certified just for middle school.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like I'm only certified for
Got it.
middle school.
got
Like
it,
I'm
got it. Okay.
certified 4 through 8.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You know, the grades where they all
Yeah.
know how to go to the bathroom and tie their shoes, and there's none of that.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
Oh my goodness. Bodily fluids are tough. That's horror stories, but I think we all get that. Like, I mean, we all at this point, I mean, April, hopefully you don't have any, but we all get the girls that it's their time, and we got Leak City all over the place. And it's just, you just put a paper down, you keep going, and we just keep teaching, and that's what it is. But yeah, I've definitely had my pee story is not as intense as his, but it was a pee trail instead of a pee puddle. Like the kid peed on their way out. So it went on their way out down the hallway to the bathroom, but they didn't get that far because they never done. So then he just came back. And it was like, he goes, yeah, well, I finished. Okay.
Well, here's a fun fact. Tim from Tim and Katie was a substitute teacher for
Damn.
first grade math.
They were savage, huh?
Wow, let's go, Tim. Yes, I totally agree. They will take advantage of any sub that they get the chance to. And he had the same experience as you, April, where he got spit up in his mouth.
This wasn't a relative, though. This was just a kid that I watched every day. Just
Like, did you pick him up and it just kind of...
Yep, just pick him up and...
Oh.
And I'm assuming we have Brittany here. Brittany's also a preschool teacher from our Paradise Falls.
Hello.
So April, you're not alone.
I'm not
Oh.
alone.
I'd like to go next on their most I forgot what I said. The craziest thing that's ever happened to them in their room. Anyone want to talk?
So I don't have a pee story, but it's similar, but it's just not pee. It's also not the other number 2. But it's my first year teaching ever. So, I'm a baby teacher just out there trying it out. And I live in Arizona, so it's super hot out. And we go back to my classroom with all 33 kids. It's a really small classroom, by the way. Like I got really small classroom that year. So it's all 33. And then all of a sudden I start hearing chaos. And I'm like, oh, I hope it's not a fight because I am not ready to what do I do? I could put them up, but I don't think that's the proper thing to do. So I'm just like, what's going on? So I turn around and all of a sudden I see this kid on the floor and he's having a seizure. And I'm like, holy, okay, I don't know what to do. Okay, I don't want to curse. I have to be the responsible one. I'm literally the teacher at this point, even though I'm 21 and green and So I'm like, everybody back up. I don't know. I just got Stan. And I'm like, you two, go get the nurse. You two, go get this other teacher who's been here for ever. And then the kids were telling me that this happens all the time. And I'm like, not to me. Are you telling me it happens to him? So we're trying to figure it out. The nurse comes, the kid's still doing it. And the nurse is like, yeah, this happens all the time. I guess he has a health condition. He's not supposed to be out during recess when it's hot outside. So that's why he had it. And I'm like, great, this was such a fun experience. I remember being exhausted when I got home because I was like, if this child dies, everything runs through your head. But yeah, it ended up doing good. He's still fine. I think he's 18 now. So, living his life. But yeah, I was just mortified.
I could just picture you just standing there what?
Yeah, for a half second, my brain's
yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do either of you two want to go next?
I'll go because I'm sure whatever April has, we can't top it. So I'll just go ahead and throw my little out there. So this was my first year teaching 7th grade, and I was my first year teaching period. So 13 years ago. I remember it I have to start by painting a picture of the kid. Okay, so you gotta understand the kid. The kid is he's from India, And he's this short. I mean, structurally, he's just small. If you saw him, you'd say he's probably 4th or 5th grade. That's how small he was. Okay. Yes. Before we go any further, he is sped, or was, or is, I don't know now, but obviously at the time he was sped. Okay. So those two things considered, right? So social cues are not his thing. He doesn't necessarily, the maturity level wasn't there of a regular average 7th grader. And so as a gen ed 7th grader, so what ended up happening was, again, my first year teaching, obviously I'm a little fluffier now, but back in the day, your girl had it going on. She was curvy all over the place. And I can't help it. It's what my mama did for me. So keeping all that in mind, Miss Clayton comes into the classroom, doing my thing, talking, teaching, whatever. And the child, I noticed that every day he kept looking at me, just staring. And it's in this region, because like literally that's probably about as high as he could have gotten, this region. And he's staring and he keeps looking. Doesn't say anything. Like we'll talk about reading stuff, whatever, but just awkwardly. So at some point I was like, okay. So I went to my my co-teacher. I was like, am I doing something wrong? Like, should I, should I like stand block? Like, how do I do this? Because he keeps looking in this area and I don't know how not. Should I carry a notebook with me and just kind of block? Like, what do I do? I'm getting uncomfortable and I don't want to make a scene. Or not the co-teacher, his case manager. And she was like, well, and she's telling me all those social cues and whatever. So long story, over a few months, he finally works up the courage and he comes up to me and goes, Miss Clayton. I was like, yeah, what's up? He goes, I got to talk to you. I'm like, okay. So mind you, smaller kid, I'm sitting at my desk. His hand is in his pants, like in his pants. And he walks up to me and his hand is moving. And I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing this. I'm just going to, maybe it's a content question. And he goes, Miss Clayton, I got to talk to you. I was like, what's up, love? What do you have to say? And he goes, do you want to come over for dinner? I'm like, no, I don't want to come over for dinner. He goes, but you smell so nice. Do you want to come over for dinner? And I'm like, no, sweetie, I can't come over for dinner. He goes, and he said something else. And then I think the bell rang, whatever, he left. And so then I freak out. And I'm like, oh my God. So I go to his case manager. I'm like, what do I do? She goes, it's okay. He does this with all the female teachers. Y'all could have told me. And so then it's better. The next day he brings me cookies. And the day after that, he brings me pie. I'm like, I'm not eating anything. This kid, like for the rest of the year, I could not, like, it was a fixation. And the problem was his hand was, y'all can imagine at some point during class, we did catch him doing some things. So I had to send him out to, like that child, he is my, and throughout school, I've been hit on many a times, whatever, but this one was aggressive with it. And it's like, I don't know how to not tell you this. And we said it's not appropriate, it's not whatever, but you would not stop. Would not. So, yeah, slightly uncomfortable. Crazy thing.
As you are stealing all the boys' hearts, Christina.
I know.
Brittany from Our Paradise Falls has her own little crazy story about how she stepped in poop as a preschool teacher. But don't worry, her shoes are now in the garbage, so it's all good. It's all good. I was reading that at the same time you were telling your story, and I was like, oh my God.
Y'all are strong people.
Woo! I cannot. April, would you like to enlighten us into the preschool realm?
Here you go. Thank you.
Emma!
Can you wave? You want to wave? Right there.
Hey, Emma.
Okay, go play. I'll talk to you in a second, okay? Okay. I honestly don't think I can top that one, Christina. That one, I mean, like, I've had kids, like, open my shirt and, like, look at them, and nursing babies tend to, like, harass you a little bit, when you're bigger. But that one was... That was a good one. So I don't know. It's a different day every day in pre-K. Last week, well, 2 weeks ago, I had one kid that like parents can drop off to my room, and I don't have like the half door like the rest of the daycare has. So this kid would just like dart out of my room and run, and I would be by myself with like 6 other kids and like trying to catch one kid. And then today was good too. I told Jake this earlier. I have a little girl who's like an evil genius. And I told her mom this. I said she's very brilliant, but it's a little scary sometimes. I had a co-teacher in my room that's not always in there, and my normal co-teacher wasn't there. So she decided to fake a panic attack over her sweatshirt. And she's going, I'm hot. And I'm like, girl, sit down. And like as soon as like the co-teacher was looking at me like I was insane, I was like, just walk away. And she finally walked away and she looked at me and said, I'm just hot. I was like, let's change your shirt. Stop freaking out the teachers, please.
She's preparing for Jake. That's what it is. She's preparing. That's that theatrical drama.
There is no preparing for me.
She's good. Like, she's really good. And it's a little, like, I told her mom she's going to have to be president because she's just...
Awesome. So my story is a little interesting. It doesn't actually really involve kids. It actually involves animals. So this happened to me last year, right at the end of last year, and I posted it on my TikTok if anyone follows me on my TikTok. But I was giving a test. It was like our last test of the year. And I got them started, and then I go to like walk around the room, walk around to where my desk is, and I see underneath my table that sits in the front that there is like something under there, and it looked like it was rubber. And I was like, oh, some kid's trying to play a prank. What the heck? And I go pick it up, and it was a black snake, and it moved.
It's time to burn the school.
Not
Go.
rubber.
Bye.
Not rubber. And I freaked out. I had literally just said, okay, guys, go ahead and get started. Make sure you don't talk. No talking. And I screamed at the top of my lungs, like screamed. And my co-teacher who was in there was like, what's wrong? And he's like, he never pays attention to anything. So I was like, can you come up here? There's something up here. And it started moving towards the kids. And there wasn't even that much space. So I was like, guys, I want you to leave your test where it is and back up to the next row, please. And of course, half of them jumped on a desk. The other half ran to the back of the room, which didn't help the situation either. And my co-teacher's solution was to grab my wire basket with holes and put it over the snake to hold it. And he has a radio, and he radios, we need like someone in Miss Brady's room. There is a snake in here. And they laughed. They literally responded with ha, ha, ha over the radio. No one believed it. For 10 minutes, no one believed it. We were in a room with a snake for 10 minutes. And it started crawling out of the wire basket. So finally, we got one of the trash cans and we put it in the trash can. Not over. In the trash can. So he picked it up with the wire basket and put it in the trash can, and that just made it angry because then it started slithering out and tipped over the trash can and tried to escape. It was a whole thing, and this wasn't even an outside school. This was an inside school.
No, I've heard of that. Like, there's been snakes on campus before. It's never happened to me. I've had random bugs, and my kids know there's a bug person. When Miss Clayton, every year we start, who's going to be my bug person? Because I don't do bugs. I don't do roaches. I don't do spiders. Bug person. And it's usually, I always have a kid or 2 or 3 that will corral and lizards. And when we were in Texas, it was the geckos. And nope. No.
I have them all over. Here, and I cannot.
No.
Someone get it out. Someone pick it up. And the kids here will put the geckos on their ears and wear them like an earring. Like live lizard things. And they think it's funny.
Is that a Florida thing? Is that how they turn into Florida man?
Thing. I think it's a Florida thing.
I had friends growing up that did that too, except they would hang it from their lip.
Oh.
Yeah,
No.
that was, you just unlocked a core memory there. Good job. I hadn't thought about that one in years.
Our Paradise Falls says they called them code blacks. I'm like, code heart attack. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, yes, for the snakes. Yes. We also have a code for alligators. If we ever see an alligator on campus, which has already happened this year. I've never personally seen a live alligator outside of a theme park, but it has happened at my school, and we have drills for it. We have a drill for it.
I will never teach.
They're taught in gym class to run in diagonals, and they practice it at the beginning and in the middle of the school year. A Florida thing. Do they do that in Arizona?
For alligators?
No. I think I've never seen a snake. We've had a lot of rats. Like, right, Kitty? If you're still here, a bunch of rats, and then scorpions. We've had a couple of scorpions, but And then people here eat them, right? Like in the lollipop. So no, it's just bugs and rats. Nothing bigger than that, I don't think.
Oh my gosh. No. All right, let's move on to our next one, which I think is like the tip. I love this one. This one's my favorite question, but I'm going to combine 3 and 4 for you guys. What is the most embarrassing thing that has either happened to you as a teacher, like you did it, or a student did? What's the most embarrassing thing, and other than the peeing? Go ahead, Christina.
It was me. Okay. So I went to the bathroom. I never wear dresses. Never. Because I don't. I had a dress on that day. I went to the bathroom. My dress was tucked in my panties in the back. And I'm walking down the hall. Made it, I'd say like 5-6 steps to my classroom door. And a teacher, she comes around the corner. She goes, Clayton. And I'm like, what? And she said, don't turn, because the bell was about to ring. So thankfully, there was like 1 or 2 kids in the hall, but there wasn't like mass kids in the hall. I am so thankful for that. She's like, Clayton, don't turn. And I'm like, I'm freezing. And she comes running up because I'm like, you could have just told me. She's like, take it out. I'm like, yeah, that happened.
Oh.
So,
at least there wasn't too many kids. Like, at least they didn't let you.
Yeah, there were kids in the hall, but none. If they saw, no one said anything, and I didn't hear anything about it. So thank goodness, Yeah, that happened.
Who would like to go next?
I split my pants once in class. That was fun. I was sitting at the piano, and we were in the middle of something, and I think they were like an older pair of pants, like we have like the uniform things that we wear just all the time because they're just like the go-to, and they probably were like retirable, and I don't remember why I even wore them, but I was sitting at the piano, and a kid did something, and I kind of just leaned over the piano to like point and like, scold or yell, and suddenly you just hear shh, and I was like, and it wasn't even just like, the crotch split. It was like all the way up and around. And I was like,
but did the kids hear it?
I don't think they did, because first of all, I was sitting, so I had like a longer like collared shirt on that was untucked. So you couldn't actually see it while I was sitting. So when class ended, I just sat there and I was like, thank you. Have a good day. And I like snuck down. Luckily, my classroom is just above the school store. So I like ran down there after like the halls cleared or whatever. And I was like, what do you have that I can put on my body? And she's like, Not much. We're kind of low on inventory. They had a couple of like sweatpants in like really small sizes. I found a pair of like the standard issue gym shorts that they sell, you know, like the blue, like regular. And I was like, for like $40 or something ridiculous. And I was like, fine. So I put them on. And so I have these like gym shorts on in the middle of winter. I'm in New York, so it's cold. I've got my long plaid button-up shirt and these gym shorts, and I was like, well, that's what's happening today.
Oh.
I
Do
mean,
you
luckily
still have
it
the
wasn't
shorts?
tragic. I do, as a matter of fact, still have them. They're actually really
You
comfortable.
have them around you.
Worth $40 then.
I think they're over there on the shelf. I think, yeah, I definitely still have them, and now I keep like, not those shorts, but a different pair of shorts in my desk drawer, just in case. I've got those, and I've got an extra pair of shoes and an extra umbrella. I've learned a few things over some time. But luckily nobody saw, but I was completely embarrassed by it because it was just like, and then it wasn't long later, maybe a couple of months. It was in the same year, but I got my shirt caught on the door handle. It's one of those like handles, you know, and I was letting kids in, and it caught on, I don't know what it caught on, but it ripped like through my shirt and just ripped like a big hole in the back of it. And I was like, luckily it was like low enough, like, because the door handle's like at butt level, so it was like sort of overlapping with what I was wearing. But I was like, I have to just avoid everything because I'm just losing clothing left and right. It was a couple of months.
Oh
So embarrassing.
I'm so sorry, Jay. That's so funny.
I laugh about it now. I laughed about it then probably, but I just kept thinking, please let me have clean underwear on. And clearly I know that I did, but that was just my like thought. Like, please let the underwear be clean should anybody see them. And it's an irrational thought, but that's all I kept coming back to. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Who would like to go next?
Okay, so this is an odd wardrobe malfunction. When I first had Emma and I went back to work, she went to work with me. I had just recently stopped like breastfeeding just because I wasn't like getting much and stuff like that. I go into work, I'm around babies. Didn't realize until midday that like my top was like dried to my body. And I'm like handing off kids to their dads and stuff like that. That's the worst too, to have like a wardrobe malfunction in front of a dad. Moms usually understand, but like that's probably the most embarrassing. Like just, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And I looked down because I hadn't done it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that I was walking around Walmart when I was drying up after breastfeeding. Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's
other
the thing.
babies set you off. Emma never
That
set
is
me
the
off, but other
thing.
babies were like,
Mm-hmm.
sorry,
I
Jake.
know,
You
I
probably
struggle.
didn't need to know that, but
I'm learning a lot about the breastfeeding. So
there you go.
And we're teachers.
There you go.
Might as well.
Shirley?
I'm trying to think because I have been online for a minute, so a lot of things are online. I think it was when I first started like social media, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't like my kids knowing my social media. They don't know I have a channel. Like, no thanks. But especially middle school,
All
it's already
mine know.
weird. It's already weird, you
Mine
know.
found me. This is the
Yeah,
first
mine
year
found
they've
me
ever
too.
found
Yeah,
Oh,
they
no.
found me.
No, mine have no clue.
No, I hope they don't. They haven't told me, but I started with TikTok first because I was, during quarantine, like right at 2019, and I really like dancing, so it was a lot of like dancing videos. And I don't want to say they're scandalous because they're not, but you know how teachers, like anything we do is scandalous. Like, oh, we go to a bar, how dare you? Scandalous. So I was wearing shorts in the tank top, like normal, but whatever. So I was dancing, and then I don't think anything of it because I'm just posting them every day. And the next day I wake up and I have like 30 more followers. And I'm like, oh my God, like, yes, like I wonder what happened. I'm getting all excited. And then I start seeing all of my students' names, right? And I'm like, oh no, like they found all of my TikToks. And I go online, like school starts, I check my emails, and then I see emails being like, go Miss Bear, get it, Miss Bear. Yes, Miss Bear. And I'm like, no. They're like, we're sharing them. Don't worry, Miss, we got you. So I start looking at my TikToks, and of course, the ones where I'm like dancing are the ones that they're sharing. And I'm like, great. Now I can't like, because I'm super strict, and now that's all gone. It's gone. So that's me. So now I'm like, please don't find me. Every year I'm like, don't find me, don't find me, don't find me.
That's why I refuse. I don't use TikTok.
Yeah.
And I try to keep, because my kids, they're stalkers. They're stalkers, and they will find you, and they like, nope. So my kids have no, no. We're not doing it. We're not connecting like that. No.
Today one of them asked me for my Snapchat. I was like, not a thing. And he's like, what about your number? I'm like, also not a thing. No.
Oh my gosh.
Like they'll randomly pop up on Facebook. I will get a couple, and I'll go back to. I'm like, no, you declined me. Yeah, I declined you. You're being creepy. No.
My most embarrassing actually happened literally a few months ago. So are you ready for it? Because it's really bad. It's really bad. You know how you're at school, you have drills you have to do, right? We all have drills. And we happen to have an unannounced lockdown drill. So me not knowing that we were supposed to have one because they never announced it. They never told the teachers like they normally do. And they just randomly decided to have a lockdown drill. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is the real thing. So I will typically at my school, what we're supposed to do is put them all in a closet, like a little, like not much bigger than where I'm at, like closet, shove as many bodies as you can in there and close the door. So that's what we did. And I thought, okay, let me bring my keys. Like I know it's unlocked, it unlocks from the inside, but just in case, let's go in. I leave the door open because I'm like not sure, and it's very stuffy in there, and I'm not about to like be stuck in there with a bunch of prepubescent smelly kids right after gym class. So we're in there, and I'm like, okay, God, like we're in there for a pretty long time. Like it's been like 15 minutes. So I really thought it was like the real thing. And I was like, okay, guys, like I whisper real close, I'm going to go get my phone. You guys stay here. And right as I'm about to like go out, I hear the door unlock. Like someone like unlocking my door. And I was like, oh shoot. Like it's admin. I got to close the door. So I quietly closed the door. Worst mistake in the world. Turns out my closet does not unlock from the inside. The only way to unlock the door is from the outside. So the bell goes off, the all clear goes off, and we go out, and I go to open the door, and I'm like slightly panicking in the dark here, and I'm like, oh my God, this door won't open. I'm trapped in here. I'm trapped. And my kids start looking at me, and they're like, Miss Brady, open the door. And I'm like, guys, it's not open. And I didn't bring my cell phone because I didn't think of it. I don't normally have my cell phone on me. I don't normally have pockets. So my cell phone was literally sitting on my desk. There's no phone in the closet, obviously. And our school rule is that your phones need to stay in your backpack, which none of them had. And right before this happened, I had just let a student go out the door, like go out to the bathroom. So he was out there somewhere in the mix. And I asked them all, I'm like, does someone have a phone? Now, I have very small classes. This class happened to be like an intensive class, so it was super small. And that day, there was a bunch of kids absent, so there was only 5 kids. And out of those 5 kids, one person had a cell phone, and it had 1 bar. I was like, there's no way this thing's going to work. And so I call the front office, and I tell them, I'm like, hey, we get a signal through, thank God. And I'm like, hey, and by the way, she has like 15% on her phone too. Like it's about to die. Real fun time. And I'm like, hey, we're locked in my closet. And she's like, who is this? And I'm like, this is Miss Brady. I'm a teacher. I'm in room 7 whatever. And I need someone to come unlock the door from the outside because my closet locks from the inside and there was no keyhole on the inside either. I had my keys. I just couldn't unlock it from the inside. And so they're like, okay, someone will be right there. I kid you not. 5 seconds later, my phone rings and it's the front office. And I call them back on the cell phone and say, hey, just so you know, I am trapped in my room. I cannot answer the school phone. Please come send someone. 30 minutes went by. 30 minutes. Still no sign of anyone. I heard my student come back and start knocking on the door, and he figured we had gone somewhere without him. So he went to go get another teacher, and finally I called this front office again and said, hey, like, I'm locked inside my closet. Someone please come help. And they finally sent someone because they were like, oh, like they didn't go. I sent them to this room. And I said, no, that's 3 doors down from me. They sent them to the wrong room. So finally he comes in, the janitor comes in and unlocks the door. And he's like, what are you guys doing in there? And I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you tell us? My kids were like panic ridden. They were so scared that they were going to be trapped in there until tomorrow morning.
Oh my God.
I was panicking. They were panicking. It was a whole panic fest. And as soon as we got out, I looked at them and I said, do not tell a soul that this happened.
Did they at least fix the locks?
So it turned out the head custodian had come in later on to figure out what the heck I was talking about. And it turned out there's a correct way for a handle to go, and they put it on the wrong way. They put it on upside down. So it does unlock, but you have to push it up to go out. And I was like, who would try that? Who would think of that?
Okay.
So
wow.
Always make sure you know how to get out of your closet, folks.
Well, I don't have a closet, so at least not that a body can fit in. Oh, wow.
All I have to say is they're lucky that there was only 5 of them and 1 of me and not 20 of them and 1 of me, because that would have been a very uncomfortable situation. But that's my embarrassing story, because I felt so embarrassed as their teacher that I locked them in a closet with me.
Yeah, anytime I forget my keys, I'm like, oh, embarrassing. Or like, you know how you can lock them inside the room? I'm like, oh, we're just gonna wait in the hall.
Done that.
Yeah.
Definitely done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So moving on, let's move to what is the most interesting story your school has either a legend or an old story or rumor? Does anyone have one for this?
So this was back at my old school. We didn't necessarily, I guess it's probably, probably it's legend now, but we lived through it. Oh my God. It was one particular, and it started at my school, and oddly enough, my cheerleaders were the catalyst. So what happened was, the gist of it is, for 2 weeks right before Christmas break, we had a bomb threat every single day. For 2 weeks, every single day. It got to the point to when I came to school, I had a bag with stuff in it. Just in case, like I brought snacks, I brought socks, because the weather started changing. So I brought snacks, I brought socks, I brought games. I was like, well, we're probably gonna have another bomb threat today. So and we did, but because you have to evacuate every single time it's done. Now they did find the kids, and they did charges were pressed and all, and that was taken care of. But oddly enough, what ended up happening is then it started at our school, again with my cheerleaders, and then it moved on into the high school and then went to the elementary schools and then move on to the connecting district. Kids were doing it over there. So for those couple of, it kind of died out. It died out like when we came back from break. Well, maybe about a week or so. Like it was those 2 weeks. It was every single day for us, and so much so that now, well, at that point, because I've left that district now, but at the time that I left, we had Go backpacks. Like they bought us emergency kit backpacks. They bought us, like, we had to wear these little hot pink hats. We had these because one of the problems was during it was really, really cold, and it's like, idiots, we're out here because it's so and it's cold. And so we got those metal, not metal, but those aluminum foil looking blanket things. Like we had all of that stuff. They packed all of that emergency kit stuff. And like I said, we ended up bringing, like, I brought extra, like those dollar gloves, socks, anything that I could bring in my bag, I would bring in my, like after the third day, they're like, okay, this is going to be a consistent thing, obviously. And they would do it. And yep, half the day we shot sitting out at the bleachers. Crazy. Hey. So yeah, now it's legend, but going through it, not so much. Yeah.
Anyone else? I know this was a weird one, but it's because I have a really interesting story for it.
No, I'll be right back. I have to charge my thing, but I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. So at my student teaching placement, this actually wasn't my school, it was my student teaching placement. They had something happened at their school. So it was like a legend now that every 7 or 8 years something weird happened, like really out of the box. Like one year there was like a tornado that almost took out the school. Another year there was and it happened like every 7 or 8 years, something weird. And the one that happened before I got there was that a random guy, some random weirdo, because this was a very rural school. It was out in the middle of like a field, like surrounded by cornfields. And the way they tell it to me, really funny, even though it's not funny, but some random guy came out from the cornfields at like 1 o'clock and just approached the school and came into the school with a machete and just started like swinging the machete like he was gonna like chop some corn or something all around the school, like all like going through the school, trying to get to anyone that he could. He was clearly mentally ill, and the principal actually was the one that ended up taking him down because he went into a kindergarten room and tried to like swing his machete around, and she caught him and actually disabled him. So it was like a fun little story, like no, not fun, but like it was a legend that if you don't behave, you'll go to the machete man in that school. That's what they told them. They said if you act up, and this was a K through 6 building. If you don't follow the rules and you're really bad, you're gonna go to the machete man that they keep in like the closet, is what they told the kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would be terrified myself. That's why I teach online. Another reason. There you go.
Like
They're actually and they're last year, fun. That was actually last year, because when the kindergartners that happened to were 6th graders when I had them. Like because they were telling me, they're like, you're not gonna send us to the machete man, are you? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they told me, and I was like, oh, what? And I like asked if it was true, and it was a true story. Just not that we keep him in a closet, obviously. But and then when the 7-year mark hit, that's when COVID hit. So I'm pretty sure that school like has something going on.
Wow, that's
every
crazy.
7 years, man.
Yeah, we've had parents come in and fight, but like that was very interesting. We had parents meet up at school to fight. Like each other. It's not like they came to school to fight a teacher or a principal. They came to fight each other over their kids, but at school.
That's interesting. So let's go. What is the most heartwarming story? We'll end with this one. I know I had a lot of others. If you want to throw out a different story, you're more than welcome to. But what's the most heartwarming story you've had from teaching?
There's so many.
I'll go. There was a kid who I had in 6th grade in my school. I see the entire grade, whether they want to sing or not, they're singing. And then in 7th and 8th grade, for the rest of middle school, they have electives. So we've got things, there's the regular electives, and then I teach like a show choir and then an advanced choir and things like that. So I had the 6th grade kid who clearly, like, he was very musical, very talented, socially awkward, and, definitely was in my nerd realm of the universe. You know what I mean? And he loved theater. His family was big in theater. So he had signed up for my show choir, and they said, he can't take show choir because he needs to be in an organizations class. And I was like, no, he doesn't. I mean, he probably does, but this is a kid who will thrive literally nowhere else if he's not with these folks. Teach him how to be organized some other day or some other period, or teach him how to do it at home. And they were like, well, no, and I had to go to, I went to bat. I mean, yelling, going to bat. I mean, practically putting my job on the line, because I was like, this is ridiculous. This is a kid who belongs in a program, and you want to put him in this other, this round peg in this square hole. Why are we doing this to this kid? So finally I got my way, and he went all the way through middle school show choir. And at the end of 8th grade, they do the moving up ceremony into high school, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he gave me a gift and a card, and the card said, 7th grade was a really bad year. This was the year after. So I fought for him at the end of 6th going into 7th. 7th grade was a really bad year, and you will never know how much you saved me. I mean, it makes me, I'm not one to show emotion much, as we know. And I actually told his mom this story for the first time, because he's almost a senior now. And so we were talking, she met with me about some track. He's going into music. He thinks he wants to be a middle school teacher, et cetera, et cetera. And we both were crying. And it was just one of those moments where it's like, I had to, put a hissy fit up, but it was worth, one of those moments where, it was worth fighting the system. Because you did right by the kid, and you knew you were going to do right by the kid, and the system, while it tries, is incredibly flawed. So it was, not only was it nice to see that, obviously it meant something to him, but that as a teacher, you kind of realized you were at a place where you're like, oh, I get what my other job is in this system, is to fight for these kids who have no other place to go, or who have no other, or who the system is failing a little bit. So that one always sticks out in my mind.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It was very sweet.
Oh, Jake, you're such a good influence.
I'm not, though, but every once in a while I do right by a child. So I did right, and I've got a couple of years before I got to do it again. So.
Oh my gosh. Jake. Anyone else like to go?
I think for me, it's heartwarming, but so this child, it's oftentimes I tell folks, like, when it comes to teaching, is sometimes all we do is plant a seed. We won't necessarily see the growth, or how that seed changes a child until later on in life. They won't even know that until later on in life, and into adulthood and so forth. but there was a one year, this particular girl, her situation in life, just the things when you think like the most horrible things could happen to a child in their innocence at the hands of their own family. That's her, right? She went through hell, just hell. But she's a strong little thing, but she went through hell. And she comes to me in seventh grade. And seventh grade is already hard as it is, right? Like seventh grade, middle school is hard, like all the things. It is hard, hard, hard. They got hormones, they got people flipping on each other left and right, you know. Ugh, okay, but I love it. So we spent the better part of the year just trying to get her to open up and trying to get her to just break her shell and like what's going on, you know, before I even knew her situation, just trying to make a connection with her. And then I don't remember what it was that I had said one day, but we were reading a particular book. And I don't know, because sometimes I get into things and I see something new in a text that was read forever, and I'm like, oh my god, this, and I just go off on a tangent. I'm talking about it and I get passionate, you know. And she wrote me a little thing on her paper saying, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay, great, she needs to talk to me because like she never talked, so yay. So we met up, we made time I pulled her out of another class the next day and we spoke, and she told me like her story and all of that. And she goes, she just talks through all of that. And then she says, that she doesn't know how to be a part of the world, how to be a part of society, because her words, not mine, she is so tainted and so unloved. She doesn't know how to participate. I will never forget that. I was like, how do you, it's a seventh grade child. So all of that, right? We go through all of that. I immediately go to guidance. I'm like, okay, I need guidance because I don't, you know, so they're aware of her situation, but I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know. Teacher school doesn't really take you through all of the guidance aspect of our job and how to deal with kids with trauma and how to work with kids with trauma. So anyway, with guidance from guidance, you know, and I learned some things and so forth. Long story short, we get towards the end of the year, and this is a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade campus. So I see her at the end of 7th grade, but also saw her in 8th grade when she came back. At the end of 7th grade, she gives me a hug. And like, she's the kid, she doesn't touch, she doesn't like none of that. She doesn't do any of that, you know? And she walked up to me. I'm like, all right, sweetie, you know, I hope to see you next summer or next year after have a good summer, see you next year, that kind of thing. Right. And she goes, and she hugs me. And it's this hug that like, it felt like if I could have continued to hug her to take all of her pain, I would have. But it just lasted, and she melted into me, and I grabbed onto her, and we held each other. And I knew, you know, there was nothing else that I can do for her, you know, like as far as her situation in life, because that's been rectified, but the pain that she's dealing with, I can't do anything with that. But all I could do was just hug her. And I thought about her all that summer, that whole summer. And then first day of 8th grade, she come knocking on my door. I'm like, hi, sweetie, how are you? And she goes, I had a great summer. And I was like, you did? That's amazing. You know, tell me about it. What's going on? What happened? She was adopted out of the system. So she was able to she got adopted into a new family. And she goes, that day I really needed, she goes, I was giving up. I don't know. She goes, I'm not telling you I would have done anything, but she goes, I was giving up. I had no more strength. And your hug. And I'm like, girl. So even now, I do not turn down hugs. If a child, I don't care. Because some people are like, no, I don't touch. I don't care. If you need a hug, I will hug the heck out of you. You know, so that's my story.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my gosh, I wish I had a better, I don't even have a story.
Give it time. Give it time. Give it time. I'm gonna say these things like there's all kinds of onesie twosies here and there. And I'm not gonna say, I mean, for younger teachers, like give it time. It will happen. There will be, but part of that is also building relationships with your kids and making them feel comfortable enough to come to you, you know? So give it time.
I'm strict. They don't come to me about anything unless it's someone else. And April or Shirley, do you guys have anything?
Nothing like that either. I'm like you said, I'm really strict too, and I'm online, so it's harder. But this year, I got a really nice note from one of my students, and they were just thanking me for using their pronouns that they wanted to be used and the name they wanted. And I just I saved it. I'm gonna save it now, but I think that's been like this year's thing. It's just like respecting them in that sense, and owning up and applauding for what they want to go through. And so I think that was mine. Just it was cute.
We're no longer allowed to do that in Florida.
I know.
That is tough.
Yeah. How long has everyone been teaching? So we kind of said this in the beginning. I know you came in a little late. Jake is 20 years, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. I get it.
April, I don't know if you said how long.
14.
14. And Christina?
13.
13. They're not that far behind you, Jake. Come on.
I'd give anything for those 6 years. So
True.
Shirley is 7, and then I'm only on year 3. So this will be my first year that I have completed from start to finish in person. So I also feel like that's like part of it, because I had so many good relationships my first year, and they all went out the door, and it was hard, really, really hard to. And then I left my district, so that happened too. So now they have no way to contact me if they wanted to. But I like to think that I hopefully made some sort of impact on those little critters of mine.
Remember, sometimes it's just a seed. We don't know. I've had kids come back years later. I do have one of my cheerleaders, because for some reason, back in Texas, my first teaching job was hey, we need a reading teacher, but we also need a cheerleading coach. And I'm like, I've never cheered a day in my life. Oh, you'll get it. Well, I did, but now I did accept her as a Facebook friend. So but that was, she had to be out of school and all of that. But I have
some that from my student teaching placement, which was only 4 years ago. But I told them as soon as I was like not in their district, they could do whatever they wanted. I didn't really care. And so a few of them this year have caught the whiff finally that I am no longer there, and so they've all added me. So that's been fun. And one of them came back and said like, I miss you and stuff like that. I was like, oh, miss you too. Funny, because you made my life a living hell, but whatever.
I don't know if
it's about the same way we do. They have those pissy moments in the moment, and then it's gone. And we're like in a bad mood for a week, and they're like la 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 la. Yeah. So like it's important to remember how much of that anger and that frustration you can take with you, because they've let it go and don't really care.
Oh and she ended up saying, she's like, I was really mean to you. Like, she would came in every day calling me fat, ugly, saying I looked terrible, and I was like, girl, who the heck are you?
I would have mean girled her on the playground so hard.
Oh,
let a child cross my.
One time, just
one time. You got one time.
You got once. I will end you.
I don't need this job that much.
I had a girl
100%
the other day that literally, this girl loves to set teachers off. She loves to do it. And I don't even teach her. And she comes up to me and she's like, Miss, what happened to your head? And I had a zit. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, it looks like you got hit or something. And I was like,
oh, it looks just like you then.
Now. I
100%.
literally just like said, go away. Like, get away from me. I
Mm.
don't want you here.
It's funny though. I had a senior come back this year. I had him in 6th grade. Pain in the neck. I mean, just not musical, not ever going to be a part of my world, which is okay. We accept that. But just made, and he came back and he said he apologized. He said, first of all, I was really terrible. And I was like, well, you know, I've taught middle school long enough to know, like, I get it. That's part of the process. And he's like, I wasn't really musical and I didn't really like your class, but I always liked you. And I was like, oh, well, make better choices about who you like, first of all. But second of all, it's a good reminder that, like, you can still make an impact on a kid
Yeah.
that isn't in your world, or that you know isn't the kid that's ever gonna, you know, you're not gonna have a direct impact on. But you can still mean something to them in a strange way.
April, in your pre-K realm, have you had any heartwarming stories?
So I think Brittany will probably identify with me because she's a preschool teacher. You don't get a lot of, you know, notes back from the kids. Like, my kids love coloring me pictures, which is great. They're overflooding my fridge. But that's about all of the note I get. And they're all Disney pictures, which is fantastic. But the greatest part of my job is, like, I literally, like, my class right now, I've had like 70% of those kids when they were infants. And now I'm their pre-K teacher, so I've literally watched them grow up and they're about to go to school. And, like, it's crazy. And I see their siblings all the time. Like, my first class is in 8th or 9th grade.
Oh.
And, like, it's like, and I'm friends with their parents, and I'm like, how did they get this big? Like, what happened? Type of thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's the best part of being, like, a younger teacher. You don't always get those notes, but, like, you watch them grow from the beginning, pretty much.
Yeah.
Aw. I had that same. So I actually started, like, my teaching journey. If you haven't watched my video, go watch it. Shameless plug. But I started, like, teaching when I was 8 years old. I would help with my old dance studio. I would help with the 2 and the 3-year-olds. And then as I grew up, I helped with older and more and more and more. And the first group I ever, like kind of took over the reins on, I think I was about like 10 or 11 at that point. The first group I ever took the full reins on is now a oh my god, I think they're high school seniors this year. So I kind of, like, from the dance community, because as I grew up, they grew up, like, right underneath of me. So I saw them all the time, and I, like, literally looked at them and I felt so old when I left because they were like 12. And I was like, that's when I started, like, teaching you. Like, this is gross. Like, I don't like this. I feel very old. And now I go, if I, like, see, I'm friends with their moms on Facebook, so I see pictures of them all the time. Like, one of my babies, she just tried on her prom dress. And I was like, no, I'm not that old. Cannot be that old.
Jake, have you met a child yet of your student? Of any of your students? 13 years. It's unfortunate because you do the math, but I have met a child of a student that I've taught.
Are they like the student?
Well, they were a baby, so I don't know. Like, we were doing, you know, you do open house at the beginning of the year. And so my student, their sibling was coming through. And so that student came through with their sibling and brought their child, like their birth child.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, taught.
Oh, no, not that yet. No, it's only been 13 years, not yet.
I have lots of students who have children, mostly from my first school, which is not my general area, but I see them on Facebook or whatever. And, like, I taught 2 of them that they were high school sweethearts all through. They were in band, they were in everything with me. I think they've got like 5 children now, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it's also super cute.
Oh. Thankfully, not yet. Not yet.
Not in your realm. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that happen. But yeah, so I know that we
Hold
have
on,
a
hold
lot.
on. Mom in the mood says she has students now. They're like 28. Girl, that's a long
Oh,
time.
I've
That's a
got
long
I've got
time.
she's
students
taught
in their
high school.
30s. I've got students in their 30s.
Oh,
Jake,
oh my gosh.
you talk about us aging you, but you're aging yourself on that one.
Well, I can't help it. I am what I am. I'm a real heart. You know that.
I love you either way, but okay.
I love you.
So we got Ben has been teaching for 7 years from Malick Adventures. That's awesome. And then Brittany said that it's the little things that matter most. She still has contact with the Connor's 2nd grade teacher, I think it is, which is her son, which is awesome. And in response to what Jake said, she says, wow. So it's been awesome talking to you guys. I hope you guys, we appreciate everyone that joined us in the chat. We're over an hour, so I know we had a lot more questions, but I'm gonna cut it off here. I'm sorry. If you want to share your teaching stories, maybe we'll have another one. Comment down below if you guys want us to have another story time. But I got some burning in the back. Our next Teacher's Corner, it'll be every 3rd Wednesday of the month. So our next Teacher's Corner will be May 18th, right here on my channel. I believe I have some people here coming back. Yeah. And it'll be all about testing, since we'll be hardcore into testing season.
Oh yeah. Dun dun dun.
Yay. It's already ruining my life. Yay. But we'll be talking all about the testingness then. So definitely leave us your topics or your questions about it. It'll be really interesting to compare different states' testing, because I know Shirley's in Arizona, Jake is in New York. Christina, are you in Virginia?
I am still currently in Virginia, but I've taught in Virginia and Texas.
Yes, and then I've taught in Maryland, PA, and Florida now. So I have all that, even though I never really tested in Maryland, but that's beside the point. But we'll be back to talk about all of that. If you guys just want to quickly tell the people who you are, where they can find you, and what is coming up on your channel so that you're not forgotten. Jake, I'm going to have you go first.
So I'm Jake over at Jake's Disney Afternoon here on YouTube and on Instagram. Year of the Year comes out on Friday. Silver and gold is our theme this month, and I got ears from, spoiler alert, April, who's here chatting with us tonight, and they're fabulous. Lots of pins coming up, couple of swaps in May. Yeah, lots of good stuff that you're not going to want to miss. So check it out, Jake's Disney Afternoon.
And his link is linked down below, so definitely check him out.
Hey, it's me. So I'm Shirley, also known as Back Talk. You can find me everywhere in Back Talk with 2 T's. Coming up, I have the 50-state swap, my first swap ever. My video comes out this Saturday, so I'm really excited. Don't forget to check it out. There's a lot of giveaways on it. I have a Ginny Pass video that just came out, and we have a Disneyland Star Wars experience coming up in May, so I'm really excited. And then Kitty and I are going on a cruise in June, so that's also going to come up. But yeah.
Oh, yay! Follow her down below.
Ooh, I'm surprised every time it pops up. Hey y'all. Okay, so it's Christina, Repray Disney. Yeah, you can follow me at Repray Disney on YouTube and Repray Disney on Instagram. And because I'm so old, that's all I got. I'm not doing the Twitter and I'm not doing the talk of the ticks. Okay, so but as far as my channel goes, we have book content, we have Disney content as far as pins and all, just unboxings of things with my daughter and myself. And then we also have I do something similar. It's not necessarily teacher related, but kind of sorta is we do Finding Your Grace is a new series that I've decided to kind of cultivate a little bit, where I just talk about sometimes where we can find the positive things in our life and how to kind of meditate and reflect on those things. So, and I share a couple of stories that have happened to me to hopefully that will inspire others to look at their lives and see where the goodness has happened. So, yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Follow her down below.
Back to me. So I'm Thrifty Nerdy Mom, April from Thrifty Nerdy Mom. You will find me Thrifty Nerdy Mom on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and newly Twitch. I also have a small ear shop that's called Ann Lou 2. You can find that on Instagram. I'm actually diverging away from Etsy. New thing. I have Year of the Ear coming out on Friday. I think I'm doing an Encanto collab on Saturday, and hopefully going to have a Parks vlog from February on Sunday. So lots of things going on, like always. And yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Follow her down below. She makes amazing ears. You guys have seen them on my channel. I happen to have some here, so definitely go check her out. I get so many compliments on these, April, all the time. Literally, I should be passing out business cards. But as for me, I did drop Pin Wednesday today. I did not forget in the craziness. It just dropped right as this right before this live stream. So go check it out. You're not gonna want to miss it. I got so many magic mail things, and I finally completed a collection that has been 4 months in the making. So happy about that, to finally complete that. And on Saturday, I also have the 50 state swap. And if you're watching, hint, 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 I may or may not be the chosen channel. So you're definitely going to want to watch it all the way to the end, if you know what that means. So you're going to want to watch it. I promise. It's going live on Saturday. And then, yeah, that's kind of what's coming up on my channel. And we hope that you love this. We hope that you will join us next time on May 18th for the testing teacher's corner. All the links to everyone's channel are down below, including mine and where you can find me. And that is it for today. Class is dismissed. Bye.